Welcome. This is episode 6 of the Final Fantasy XIII Let's Play, and we're catching back up after we killed the Dreadnought. It was a hard-fought battle where it steam cleaned us for a little bit. And with me, as always, I have Izala here.
Hello. Going back to the Vile Peaks.
So we gotta run back up from that from the hole we got dropped into. I guess we had it was a very complicated battle, so we have to have a loading hallway immediately afterwards.
This looks like easy going.
We just had a loading screen.
Yeah. Yeah, but it started us down there.
Scout ahead.
True. You had to load the loading corridor.
Oh, what is this upgrade?
I don't know. There might have been a tutorial.
So, the upgrade system... Yeah. The upgrade system... we actually would have loaded into the upgrade immediately. As soon as you killed the Dreadnought, it pops up a 5-page tutorial box telling you how to upgrade items, but you can't actually do it until you come all the way back up to the save spot. It seems like a weird pacing thing to me. And I spend entirely too much time mousing over every single item trying to figure out how much experience they're all worth. But basically, the what it's talking about is there are two types of trash items that we got. Basically, bio and mechanical, and they have different purposes. And as you feed them into items, they gain experience and level up. So I decided that I wanted some more magic on Vanille here, and eventually I will put experience into it.
You gotta check everything first.
So I can't remember if this holds through the entire game or not, but at least for now, the bio items are used to add an experience multiplier, and the mechanical items offer higher experience but reduce your multiplier. If you use too many of the non-bio of they will eventually reduce your thing below 100%, so you get like 75% of the experience. What they really want to encourage you to do is use a whole bunch of bio items and switch over to the mechanical.
Yeah, there's also a lot of hidden information in the upgrade system because the organic or bio parts or whatever, which you can tell because they have like this little claw icon next to them as opposed to a screw, I guess it's supposed to be. They actually have like a hidden multiplier value. So I think it eventually tells you what the multiplier is after you've passed like one of the thresholds. So it actually gets to a nice number that it shows you. But it doesn't actually tell you how much each item is contributing. Okay, yeah, there it pops up telling you it's 1.5. But
yeah,
1.5
is the mat of what I've gotten on this item. So it's not even, you're actually building up an experience multiplier experience bar, and that's what's then showing that. So certain items are worth more experience multiplier experience, and then also give you experience, and it's correlated at least somewhat to the rarity of the item, but also how much normal experience it gives.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is when you use the non-bio items, so like the tech items or whatever, I don't know what we're calling them, but it doesn't actually matter how many that you use because the reduction in the multiplier always happens at the end. So you can take advantage of a big multiplier by using something you have a big stack of, because whether you use 90 of a thing or 5 of a thing, it reduces the multiplier the same amount. So
yeah. The only problem runs into when Yeah. When you don't know what the max level or max experience of the item is, you can get more than one level at a time, but you may end up spending more items than you needed. And I'm doing the same thing again with Lightning's Gladius weapon. So just sped it up a little bit. I only got one level on that for her. And tutorial did also mention that you can dismantle items for component parts. I think a lot of that ends up being used when you can actually transform the item itself. Once they get to a star, there's a chance to upgrade it to a different item. And then this is the garage that we got. We are not, unfortunately, building our motorcycle. And basically, it's just a mechanism for you to buy experience items. So essentially, convert Gil directly into item upgrades.
Which is actually the most efficient way, especially later on in the game, of getting a large quantity of the tech items for the leveling up.
Yeah. I know that there are some, and the Crystarium just popped up saying that we can develop our characters further. Saz and Vanille are who we're going to be running with for a little bit. I didn't actually go into Hope or Lightning's.
Not much of a future for us, huh?
Hard to picture a happy ending.
We don't even know where to go.
I do.
Huh?
There.
Her drill is the drill that will pierce the heavens.
Eden?
Yeah.
The Sanctum Seat of Power. Oh, that's a great idea. Just charge right in there. Give him a taste of Lassie terror. You're serious?
Keep running. It's die or turn Seath. There's no place for Lassie to hide. No. They want to fight. Let's take it to the Sanctum's door.
This isn't a game.
Why not?
No. That's for damn sure. Started with Sarah. The Fal'Cie took her. Now I'm a Lassie too. And the Sanctum's hunting me, an enemy of the state. But who's pulling their strings? A Fal'Cie. Eden. Cocoon's sustainer and guiding light. It probably ordered the purge, too. Pulse and Sanctum Fal'Cie, they're all the same. And we're all the same to them. Expendable. I'm not dying a Fal'Cie slave.
So, what are you gonna do?
Destroy it.
By yourself? Are you
You guys
crazy?
could join.
Say you pull it off. What's that get you? Satisfaction? Something happens to Eden, it's lights out Cocoon.
I mean, Phoenix or
You want that? You're a post-Lassie now, so you just want to snuff out Cocoon.
No! What about Sarah? She said to save Cocoon. It might even be our focus to make sure Cocoon's...
Our focus doesn't matter. I don't take orders from Fal'Cie. How I live is up to me.
Don't you mean how you die?
Think like that, and it's already over. Better to pick your path and keep moving. Don't worry. I'm after the Sanctum. I'm not out to destroy the world. If it did come to that, wonder if our hero'd try to stop me.
You want to fight Snow now? Just like that and your enemies?
Next time we meet, we might be too.
When the fear sank in, it tore us all apart. Lightning was suffering, reaching out to us, but none of us could see it.
Snow deserves it.
If only I'd been stronger, none of this ever would have happened.
Hope is hopeless.
I don't know what I should
I
do.
like his decision-making process.
It's two of us.
It's like, well, Lightning said she might fight Snow. I'm gonna join her team.
You're taking care of me.
Well, it won't be if you keep pushing me like that.
She already abandoned me once. I'm sure it'll go well.
Just gotta try again.
I'm going with you.
I can't babysit you anymore.
I can fight. I'm not afraid.
About that.
Great. A SciComm hit squad.
So this actually took a couple of attempts, and by a couple I mean I died once. I tried to Libra some of the new enemies that we have here as my first action, but they do so much damage initially that if they focus fire, I mean, usually both my characters are immediately at half HP, and the guy that I did manage to take out, yep, there goes Hope, he's dead. Buffs them to do even more damage. So there's just enough people shooting. They don't have much HP if you can focus them, but they are, when you're first trying to refamiliarize yourself with the new characters that you got, because we haven't had Hope in a while at this point, and we definitely had Lightning with someone that did more damage in Saz initially.
Just stay out of my way.
Kind of try to push the medic stance of Hope on you a little bit more during this segment.
Not bad.
It's one of the infamous difficulty spikes.
Thanks.
Coming from those, like, you know, fighting the dog enemies like 50 times.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Army's out to play.
What now?
What now? I mean, we could stay here, but shouldn't we...
Run?
Huh?
We should run. If we rush in now, we'll just get in her way.
You know, you're right. I guess. I mean, it's not like Lightning needs any help.
The framing on that seems weird. Like, I don't know if it's just the way it was delivered or not.
There'll be more soldiers. We should keep moving.
It almost seems like Vanille
Lightning?
wants to just abandon
worried about
Lightning,
the
which, I
others?
mean, Lightning
I'm
did
sure
just
they got
say,
away.
hey, leave me
So can
alone.
you if you leave now. With me, it'll be fight after fight. I don't know how it'll end. It's anybody's guess.
I know that. But I need to be stronger. Lightning,
Call me Light.
what's the plan from here?
Through the Gapra Whitewood to Palampolum. We'll find transport to Eden.
I live in Palampolum. I can show you all the shortcuts.
No side trips.
No need. I don't think Lassie are welcome at home.
And now we will look at our Crystarium here. So it flashes up there for a second, but what I was talking about earlier with the Crystarium expanded, we have role levels available. So there is a node that will increase the actual level of our given spec. So Ravager, Medic, Commando, etc.
Get something off your chest?
And Izala, if I can't remember correctly, does it just increase the buff, or does it give you some additional raw stats besides just accessing deeper into the Crystarium? Do you remember?
I don't remember either.
I'm gonna go look ahead.
I feel like it's a little inconsequential, but you kind of have to get it regardless, so it may just be a checkpoint system. But they are fairly expensive. I think the previous node is like 130, and that ends up being 360 or something.
Yeah, I don't really think I noticed because it kind of happens like while you're upgrading stats anyway, because like you said, you can't skip it. So it would have been hard to
Yeah, exactly.
notice the effect that it had individually.
Yeah, without the large group of these guys, they kind of just melt. They are basically the equivalent to the dogs we had previously. They're just able to get their damage out very quickly. And there's a melee version of them also. We saw it briefly in that first combat, but Lightning does have Medic now. It's fine. It's always nice having more, and it is beneficial when you're playing as her and your HP is low to switch to Medic, since the travel time of the spell is instantaneous when it's fired from themselves to themselves.
So I looked it up, and the roll levels do actually increase the roll bonus that you get in the paradigm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Not by
But
a
still,
lot.
it's kind of just an automatic thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's pretty minor. Like, actually, for example, Commando going from 1 to 2 doesn't change anything, but going from 2 to 3,
Wow.
the damage boost changes from 5 to 10%.
Ah, okay. So I guess the question is, did we catch up to SciComm and the Guardian Corps, or did they eventually figure out how to track us down?
They just, like, here anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the Corps... This area seems like a place that the Corps would have to be attacking, since they're supposed to be mitigating the pulse presence in the areas.
Right.
And this wasn't a preemptive attack. I don't know how it wasn't a preemptive attack.
Yeah, you literally jumped down on it. I thought
Yeah.
for sure it would be.
Come on, Light.
And Hope has access to some additional synergist item skills now, but we haven't unlocked them through the Crystarium, unfortunately. We'll get there eventually. And yeah, Hope mentioned it. He talked about Pal and Poem a little bit previously, but I was reading the data log about Pal and Poem in particular, and apparently it's basically a resort town, but the...
Any trace of the Lassie? Nothing. No sign it's been activated.
But the main attraction is the ability to shop in person. Apparently the society has completely shifted to like online ordering, and basically nobody ever goes to a shop anymore, so there is a resort town that has small shops.
Explains why they have all the shops at the terminals that you go to.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how normal people are supposed to unlock shops though, because I don't think
Probably thought we'd
beating
try
up
using
large
the pulse
robots
machine
is
to
a
escape.
normal everyday experience.
Maybe we should try it.
Probably not.
What does this do?
Oh, I need some groceries. Well, you
Hey,
gotta go kill
you're
the
gonna
giant
hurt yourself.
robot.
Don't touch that.
And then you can shop
Wait.
it. Can I just
What if
use
it
your shop?
works?
No, it's impossible to use my shop.
Leave it.
I like to think of those drops as just like a business card with a QR code.
Yeah.
Told you to
And it's like
leave it.
essentially an AOL keyword.
Stop already! I think I got it. Light, I think I can work this.
I don't know where this came from. Like, Final Fantasy's always had some kind of, like, mini game section and stuff like that, and this fits that role. But I just don't know why. I don't remember writing anything later on either. Like, it's just you beat this thing up previously, so now you get to use it as a toy for a little bit.
It also gets to make Hope seem like not completely useless.
Yeah.
It is weird though.
Yeah, we got the power swing.
I just, you gotta love how far away they get flown.
The arc's a little weird. I think I had to make sure I actually hit it.
I mean, maybe it's just me and because I'm not like a military engineer, but this does not seem like the most practical use of
I
resources.
mean, these are pulse workers. Like, they're the same model as the pulse robots that we were fighting before. Just they look a little pink for some reason. And so I don't know where the wall came from. I don't know if they would normally, because I think the Dreadnought's also a pulse armament. So would they normally even attack it? I mean, obviously you're stomping through their land, so they're defending themselves. What I'm saying is I'm a no fun grumpy pants.
Yeah. But you still get to send these things flying with this like cheery music playing.
Yeah.
It's like, we didn't give you a gold saucer, but here you go.
And the military tactic of standing in bowling pin formation on a bridge.
This is probably why Pulse lost.
Nice landing.
He didn't really use his seatbelt there.
Let's get moving.
Just need a minute. I'm still a bit winded.
You're too soft.
Shocked
Wait
by
up.
that.
You know, you just.
And I don't remember, like 50 robots at least.
Yeah. It's just like, yeah.
I don't
you're
know
too
if
soft.
these are rewards for that. Yeah.
Or like if what you get there changes based on like how many you actually killed. Who
How
knows?
many? Yeah. Or how long it took or something. 'Cause that's totally a thing how they used to do it in older Final Fantasies. Of there's like a weird segment and there might be 3 chests if you do the correct thing.
Yeah.
Find another one of those things.
One of them was literally 100 gil, which I don't think actually buys us maybe 2 potions. I think potions might be 50 gil.
So I believe that fight was against both Psycom and Guardian Corps.
The very first fight with Lightning and Hope had a single SciComm person. The SciComm tracker buffs the Guardian Corps people.
The road splits here. Which way do we go?
They're definitely working together a little bit here. And the Ulhan? I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. It's not classified as either Guardian or SciComm in the data log, but I would assume that it's probably SciComm.
By the way, fun fact, those rewards are dependent on how well you do at the Pulse minigame.
No.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to redo it if you fail, right?
Yeah.
You don't. As far
You
as
just
I know.
load your
It's
save.
just reloading. Yeah. Does it say which reward is part of that? Just give you a table.
Yeah, so they're both the item and gil are based on the number of kills. So 100 gil is 24 or less.
Okay, so I didn't do well, I guess?
Yeah, you actually have to kill 40 to get the maximum gil reward,
How?
which is 999.
There were no other robots. Do you double back? Do they respawn or something?
Okay, so I understand now. The gil reward is based on how many you killed with the sweeping blow. The item reward is just based on total kills. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Weird. Which, the max reward is Spark Ring, and the other rewards are just upgrade materials.
Yeah, there's a SciComm and a core here, too. So, they're definitely working together in this segment.
They don't exactly share Lightning's uniform.
Yeah.
Like when we
She's
saw
in the
like the officer, or, well, no, she's not an officer.
she was going to go for officer training or something.
Yeah. But during that
but
flashback,
he-
her like boss is wearing something more similar to what she is than these soldiers are.
Yeah, it's a chance that because she's Bodum security, they're kind of like a little further out. Almost a resort town too. They don't see a lot of combat themselves. They have to go on expeditions outward, so like it could be their civvies versus their actual combat uniforms, and she just happened to get caught off guard.
True.
Or the different area regiments have slightly different designs. Because the models that we're seeing for Core look very similar to what we fought against as Snow before he got his motorcycle. But they're different colors. And what I didn't realize is the item that was dropped out there is actually classified as an enemy, and I can Libra it.
That's weird.
Even the regular dialogue for it just says unremarkable, but I did have some question mark resistances because I did not use Libra against the that node. I have a vision of the future. It's cutscene vision.
Or were you scared because of the save point?
This isn't working. Huh? I mean, you're a liability. You'll just slow me down.
What?
I'm sorry, but I can't protect you when...
You can't leave me here. You gotta take me with you.
Enough! The whole world is against us. I can barely keep myself alive, let alone some helpless kid! I don't have time to baby you. You want to get tough? Do it on your own!
Having some really bad heartburn.
Yeah. Speaking of Snow's fight,
This cannot be happening.
say hello to Odin.
Take down the enemy.
He will mess you up. Or I guess I should say he will mess Hope up and then make it very hard for you.
Thank you. Let's go.
So I also equipped the spark rings that we had gotten up to this point. They reduce lightning damage by 20%, which is definitely a benefit during this combat. Odin's gauge will increase by stagger, which seems to be consistent pretty much across all of them. But his gimmick version is healing also. So him doing damage is definitely a benefit to that, but I'm not sure if Hope healing counts for that or not, or if it's just lightning. It's hard to read how much the Gestalt gauge is going up.
Thank you.
Looks like it's gonna be close.
Follow my lead.
The max gauge is a little weird. It's definitely not nearly as far as you think it is going to be.
Oh yeah, it kind of just shoots up much faster at the end.
Take down the enemy.
Yep, Hope died, and we now have access to Gestalt, so everything is fine. It's a horse.
Yes. It was a robot horse the whole time.
The thing is, I'm more okay with a horse than I am the two ladies into a motorcycle.
I mean, at least Odin as a horse makes more sense than Shiva being a motorcycle. So.
Whoa.
Not wrong.
Your brand looks different. Was that an Eidolon? Like Lassie can summon?
Magic and mumbo jumbo. I must have hit my head on that purge train.
Am I really in your way? I'll do better. I'll try harder.
We'll toughen you up. I'm sorry about before.
She had a change of heart. Or change of seal?
All it took was that one battle with Odin.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll get to the tutorial shortly. This is the same class of entity that Shiva was, but we never got an opportunity to actually use the Shiva summon in combat. It has basically two separate forms, and we'll see that briefly here. It definitely tutorializes the next combat. But I decided to do some menu navigation beforehand. Surprisingly, Odin is a lot of lightning damage. And we get our first new technique out of it too for summoning. Costs 3 TP though. That's substantially more expensive considering our cap is only 5.
I believe you should have also received a new HTV segment upon getting
Yes.
the Eidolon too.
Yep.
Got my back?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they throw a relatively chunky HP encounter here to give you an opportunity to use the summon. And yeah, summons are main character specific.
Odin.
And they need a fancy cutscene.
Oh yeah. There's a data log entry just telling you how to skip the summoning cutscenes. And yeah, Eidolons don't have HP. They have SP, which slowly drains over time, and they will go away when their SP is gone, or you enter Gestalt mode. The Gestalt meter that is showing there builds up based on standard combat things, building stagger, dealing damage.
So essentially the goal is to try to maximize your Gestalt meter before you run out of SP to kind of get the maximum amount of time with the summon out, I guess is what they were
Yeah.
going for.
In practice, it may not necessarily be that great.
Nothing personal.
I also
We do this
did not
together.
realize that during this in combat, because I killed those 3 guys real quick, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fast combat with this out. So I just immediately go Gestalt.
Let's ride!
I appreciate the sounds of its hooves like clacking on literally nothing
Yeah.
as it's flying down.
It's all magic. There is a Fal'Cie speaker out in the world that makes coconut sounds for whenever the Eidolon shows up.
The storm is here!
Fal'Cie's only purpose is for the Monty Python reference. Got it.
Until next time.
Population of Cocoon is about 10 million or just over 10 million, and there are supposedly 8 million Fal'Cie, so they all need jobs somewhere.
Also, I just want to point out the best part about summoning Odin is the animation for him leaving is taking the weapon in his little horse mouth and galloping away.
It's not as cool as a wolf with a sword in its mouth, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have spent more time with the regular summon out, building some meter. One thing it does mention in the tutorial, though, is that when the summon leaves, any stagger bar is reset to 0. So you have to work all of your stagger back up, even if he leaves when something isn't dead but is staggered. It will no longer be staggered.
Which is also why it may not be worth it to maximize the amount of time the summon is out. Because if their stagger bar is already like expiring or whatever, you might as well just end it because you're going to lose whatever progress you make anyway. Of course, like, you'll still do damage, so it's always kind of weird, but...
Sorry.
And there's other benefits to the summon, but it definitely feels more like a clutch play rather than a intentional damage window.
Not by a long shot.
Looks very comfortable.
I mean, after the day he's had... We get some nice smooth jazz happening in the background now. I love when my construction sites play jazz.
No sign of
It's even
soldiers.
better when they have
Like they
these
got their attention.
platforms with no safety
I wonder
rails.
how Hope's doing.
Yeah.
They were headed towards Palampolo. Kid's on his way home. You can bet on it.
Good for him.
Real proud of themselves. Leaving hope with lightning.
Yeah. Like, yeah, we ditched him.
It's good. If they manage to slip in quietly. All of Cocoon is in the grip of pulse phobia. If a Lassie pops up on the radar, all hell will break loose.
They don't even know why they're scared.
Afraid of what they don't know. Afraid to find out more. It gets worse the older you get. I'm terrified of what'll happen. The world probably would be better off without Post Lassie. I mean, most of them.
Gee, thanks. Let's go.
Is that Vanille literally pushing the plot forward?
Yup.
I do appreciate that there's safety rails on these ramps between the platforms, though.
Must have built one.
Yeah, but not the stairs, not... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Commando for Saz now, which is great. It really helps our damage output during Stagger, instead of having double Ravager. It's much easier to get into Stagger. We don't have to do any of the weird manipulation with Saboteur. And we fight a classic Final Fantasy enemy, the Bomb. It will cast fire magic on itself to heal, and then walk up to you and explode.
Also, I think this is the first instance of a bomb enemy in a Final Fantasy game having Wi-Fi, because if you look at the sort of like bottom section of it, there's something that definitely looks like a Wi-Fi symbol.
Oh yeah, totally. I would just assume they're like vents or something.
I
But
don't
those
know.
are just painted on.
I immediately thought Wi-Fi. They do look more traditional the closer they get to self-destruct.
Yes.
We got this, Vanille.
And yeah, it looks like they explode for how much HP they have, which is part of the reason of them trying to heal themselves first. They always enter combat at half HP. I'm not sure if their form is based on their HP or, like Izala said, they are just that part of their self-destruct animation. They changed their model a little bit.
Aha.
Convenient.
Nothing
Yeah.
to it.
Recess!
The thing is, so I tried to like get this thing to move across, thinking it was a conveyor or something. You just have to run on the pole. So we didn't actually need to move it to run on the pole. It's
Was
a little
the
bit
pole-
safer.
Was the pole actually there before it moved?
Yeah, it's the track
Okay.
that the platform came over on. That track was there the whole time. The only difference is we would have had to like hold on to that little shield thing that was grabbed to be able to go around it otherwise. It wasn't an active thing we could walk on until we moved it, so like, but diegetically, totally something we could have done.
I don't know, I think one of the best things to do when you go through this like type of area in a JRPG is kind of assess the practicality of the environment, which was clearly created for you to just walk through as a video game. But what you know, this
Yeah.
ostensibly is a scrap processing plant. I'm not quite sure what purpose the two spinning wheels serve. It looks like they could be moving some kind of material.
They
but
could be
both-
moved?
But they turn into each other, so they're not really transporting anything.
I'm tougher than
See,
you
I
are,
originally was
huh?
thinking more of the bucket scoops at like a mine site, so they were pulling up material from the walls, but they're not moving towards the walls. They're just sitting there and infinitely spinning.
It's like this was just created to ensure that Falsey jobs continued to exist, because they need to operate this. But it does actually nothing.
This really has like mine quarry vibes or something, but if they were supposed to be taking scrap from Pulse to repair stuff, like is this part of that mechanism or was this a pre-existing thing? Like we have a whole bunch of Pulse enemies here, so probably from Pulse?
That was a bit of a close call.
That's fine. I don't want to lose this stagger.
Watch and learn, kid. We got this, Vanille.
Yeah, these guys are definitely
Yes!
HP sponges a bit.
Yeah, it's a lot easier now that you have a commando. You can maintain the stagger bar a bit more.
This is just shell deprotect. It gives critical shell and magic wall. There's a physical wall also. They both reduce damage by the number that's there. Which is interesting, but there's a lot of it. We don't get hit by a lot of small attacks. It's usually a couple hundred damage that we get hit by. So
put these babies to work.
Very unremarkable. These are apparently classified as spooks. So I guess gremlins are a type of ghost? Or they're just because they're dressed spookily?
I'm gonna assume it's because of how they're dressed. Even though that's the weirder way to classify them. Must be loading something again.
Yeah. That single chest. So I'm just making sure, because we checked a whole bunch of those panels that it felt like we should have been able to do something with. And, I'm scared of critical path, so we had to make sure that we were doing what we had to do, but not forgetting anything.
Bullseye.
Yeah, so like one 3 ATB attack combo against these guys, they pretty much just go down. They're fine. They're basically fodder, right?
Yeah.
No, they won't cause any problems.
Maybe that's what they want you to think.
And the gremlins attack with fire a lot, and there's a whole bunch of bombs here, so the fire ring makes sense.
Guess running's out of the question.
So that counted as a preemptive strike, but the earlier one didn't. Got it.
Yep. Well, it's hard to tell if the gremlins are actually facing you or not. They were both looking away. They only have 2 dots in the back of their head. They have 5 dots in the front of their head.
You got this, Vanille.
Yeah, so I ignored those gremlins here, just so I could focus down that pulse soldier. They got me to half HP, and there's only 2 of them. It'd be a problem if there was maybe a larger group of them and there were more pulse surge soldiers. But that combination won't happen.
Yes!
Yeah, so there's a lot of combat in this Saz Vanille section. Basically just fighting combinations of bombs, pulse workers, and the gremlins. So we're just gonna, any new combat, we're just gonna speed up a little bit. It's basically a solved system at this point for these enemies.
Basically, like, don't die to the self-destruct, stagger the pulse work soldiers, and rinse repeat.
Yeah. I mean, it gets us a good amount of Crystarium points. We're going for all of the items that are around here. You need to activate the 4 points. I have no problem playing this, but there's just not a lot of variance right now. We barely have additional rolls, and Saz and Vanille didn't get the roll leveled up either. So and like I said earlier, the pulse soldiers here are just health sponges. And there was no hope for that. Preemptive.
Pun not intended, because he isn't in the party right now. You do at least get to see kind of how much you paradigm shift, though, when it's sped up like this.
Yeah.
It's more obvious. Which,
Yeah, and I'm constantly playing with whether or not the benefit of the Saboteur actually ends up saving time or not, because you lose a couple of... It's a 2 ATB action to debuff. So you have to get that... You have the paradigm shift into it. Wait for the debuffs to get applied. Commando benefits more from the D Protect, whereas Ravager benefits more from the D Shell. So you almost need 4 ATB. It definitely makes it melt more during stagger, but it doesn't really seemingly help that much getting stagger. This is why haste ends up being such a godsend later on in the game.
For sure.
Better not electrocute myself.
Yeah.
Aha! It's alive!
Way to go!
Be safe, kids. Don't electrocute yourself. I have a coworker that tells a story of sticking his hand near a 480 transformer and knocking him on his butt, and he has a scar in the webbing between his index and thumb, where it basically just had a hole go right through. That's where the arc had jumped. So don't do that.
They must be powering up the machine.
Other machines are powered up? Machines that we tried activating earlier and now had to backtrack for?
Yeah.
Too late. Vanille really wanted to push the plot forward and I just said no.
You gotta get the items.
Yep. And since a lot of these are going to be re-combats, because they didn't happen to respawn as we came through here, those are just cut out. However...
Elevator Master. And just
This
like I
combat.
planned
This is a regular combat, not a boss.
it. Minor hitch.
And I died. So, I debated here using a thing, and for whatever reason I decided not to. This combat takes forever. Because I originally try and stagger the guys, but I'm basically being nuked by triple fires from the gremlins and just smacked around by the pulse workers. So I'm just in healing mode for way too much of this fight. And it ends up being just the standard double pulse worker combat that we've seen so many times once those gremlins go away. But we don't have an AoE yet. I think I can get Blitz on Saz, but Blitz does less damage, so it ends up leaving the gremlins up longer to deal more fires. Hey, I got Blitz now.
Just in time.
Not a problem.
So I'm not really sure what the point of that elevator was. The elevator was to open up a set of stairs that you already would have walked past.
Tap a couple keys and
Also, the animation of those stairs, like, always bothers me in, like, the same way that, like, you see, like, centipedes move really fast does. It's like they just have too many legs. They're moving too quickly.
Yeah, the triple bomb is a threat too. But if you can get them down a little bit, the self-destructs, because they're HP based, it's actually it's almost better to just stagger damage across all of them so that you're going to get hit by a self-destruct, it's not going to hurt as much.
And I guess those 8 iron shells were the actual reward for going back here.
Yeah, I mean, extra combat isn't really a problem, since we aren't capped on Crystarium at this point. But
Oh, I got this thing figured.
I think that this set of enemies has kind of overstayed their welcome, because we fought them all throughout the previous section, or not the previous section, but the one before Lightning and Hope. And Lightning and Hope got a whole new set of enemies to face with the core and the golems. Yeah, I just never commit to the buff and debuff early enough against these guys. I think it does really end up helping. More upgrade mats. I really want to take the elevator instead.
It is a cool elevator.
Let's see.
Again, I feel like it's missing safety rails, but who needs that when you can just have the game clip?
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that corridor. Yeah, I had fond memories of this section. For some reason, like, playing as Zaz and Vanille and figuring out the Saboteur stuff. But I'm not sure if I went back and did that stuff. The time it takes to actually go and do that for what reward we got just didn't seem that nice. Probably my first playthrough this is when I was starting to figure out the paradigm system.
Which is probably why they throw so many of these enemies specifically at you.
Yeah.
Because the only way to kill them reasonably quickly is to constantly use the right... or switch between paradigms, I mean. Going back and doing that,
especially...
you get some early access to, like, a stack of upgrade items. So I guess, like, since you just learned the system, it lets you experiment with it, but yeah, I don't know about how good of a reward it is.
Yeah, the XP pools required to actually make progress on the items seems very high early on.
Wanna take a break?
Yeah.
I was looking into some of the challenge runs of this game, and I can't remember if we talked about it before, but there's a no Crystarium usage, and what that ends up devolving into is just farming gil for weapon upgrades to make up for the stats that you are missing from the Crystarium.
All set. Okay, good night.
Not a care in the world.
Oh!
This
She's calling you a creep.
completely necessary scene.
Do not cross this line. Understood?
Grow up.
And good night again.
Did you just go to sleep already?
Oh, I didn't notice the Chocobo chick has a little snot bubble.
Still a kid.
Well, everyone else is taking a break, so I think we will too. Thanks for watching, guys.